Here we are. We've got another list of Shocker greats coming up on Saturday at Kansas.com. Numbers 31 through 40. I'm Bob Lutz. Paul Suellentrop covers the Shockers. Kirk Seminoff is our sports editor. What do you think of this list, numbers 31 through 40?
It's a list that I like because it's kind of the list that we did this for. These are the 10. Some of these players were not around in our last list in 2002, so I think it's a sign that this was time that we do the list again.
Yeah, I enjoy this particular group because I think two players who really helped transform Wichita State, Randy Burns and Jamar Howard, are in this group, and I think that when Mark Turgeon and Tad Boyle were able to recruit those two guys, this program kind of took off.
How big a recruit was Randy Burns? I wasn't around at that point.
You know, they were high on him. He was a big-time scorer in high school. They were high on him, but I don't think he was viewed as being quite the player he turned out to be, and he was really a good player.
Yeah, definitely. Both he and Jamar were together. It's fitting that they're next to each other on this list, and then they kind of handed the ball off to P.J. Couisnard in a lot of ways, who was right next to them on the list. So it's very fitting.
Jamie Arnold, a player you wanted to talk about, number 40 on our list. How did he strike you? You had him for his last year or two, didn't you?
Yeah, and those were tumultuous years. What I wanted to talk about was, where does Jamie Arnold fit on this top 40? He's obviously number 40 on this list. Where would he have been if he'd have played 4 productive, complete years for coaches who could control him, who could handle him?
Well, he played for Scott Thompson and Randy Smithson, so had he played for Mark Turgeon or Greg Marshall, he would have either played their way or been gone, probably. Not much in between. But had he chosen to really focus, Jamie Arnold was as talented as the guys we've seen around here in a long time.
Yeah, I think he's probably a top 20 talent, or on this list had he had a smoother career. And it's a shame that the basketball program was not in better shape that it could take a kid and keep him on the right path for 4 years.
I don't know how many Shocker fans know of Rich Morsden. Was he in your time?
He was right at the beginning of my time. He was a 6'4", 6'5" guy who would. I always remembered him because he jumped center for the Shockers. He kind of played inside for not a very big guy in the days when the Valley was really, really strong. And, yeah, he held his own in there.
Yeah, those teams he played on were not very good teams record-wise, but as you said, the Valley was such a strong conference at that point. This is a guy who averaged 16 points and 9 rebounds one year and came out of Hutchinson Community College, played at Wyandotte. Just a tremendous player, but on not very good teams. What about Bob Hodgson?
I know the name. I know his daughter played women's basketball at Wichita State. Other than that, I don't have a lot of Bob Hodgson knowledge.
You're supposed to know everything.
Scammon, right?
Very good, from Scammon. So you knew that. But apparently he had a great hook shot. And I don't know how many players we've seen with a hook shot come through Wichita State since Bob Hodgson. Robert Elmore had a nice little hook shot.
Hodgson was the guy, the kind of the second fiddle to Cleo Littleton for those really good teams in the mid-'50s. But, yeah, he's a typical small-town Kansas guy that Ralph Miller used to recruit in the 50s.
A couple of guys on this list that have played under Greg Marshall, Joe Ragland and Carl Hall. Carl Hall got to the Final Four with the Shockers. Joe Ragland had an incredible season shooting the basketball as a senior when he shot over 50% from the three-point line. That's almost hard to imagine.
Yeah, I have a real soft spot for Joe Ragland's senior season because it was, if you go back and look at those numbers, it's up there as, offensively as good as anybody Wichita State's had. And it kind of gets lost in the shuffle. They didn't win an NCAA team. He didn't have great, he didn't score a lot of points. He was just very efficient at it, and he really had a great senior year.
And then at number 37 on the list, Sasha Radunovich, I think is as colorful a player as has come through Wichita State. Drove his coach, Eddie Fogler, nuts at times, but played with flair. A big-time fan favorite at 6'10". He played like a 6'4" guy.
We used to have a photo, and I couldn't find it for this video, of Sasha putting the ball between his knees and faking a pass over his head. And we got the photo, but I couldn't find it. But that was the kind of player he was, and I think Tom Shine, who covered the team at that time, always said that Sasha felt like Eddie didn't like him. But I think it was just Eddie was incredibly frustrated with this 6'10" guy who was a really talented player, but did a lot of funny things.
Well, we're getting to the nitty gritty of our list. Next week's number 21 through number 30, and we're just a couple of weeks away from revealing the top 10. So hope you stick with us. We appreciate you looking. And what about our online function here?
Yes,
Kurt?
we have given readers a chance to vote for their top 5 all-time shockers. We don't have to do it by position. And if you go to kansas.com, you'll find the poll. We give you 40 names, and you can name your top 5 players, and you can also have write-ins if we've missed somebody. So we encourage you to get to the website.
And we'll be divulging our top 5 soon in some form or another. Thanks for looking at this list. We hope you continue.